Hey guys, in today's video I am checking out a lens sent to me by Meike. Now the last time I reviewed a Meike lens was the fisheye, which I was not a super duper fan of. I didn't think that they were going to send me more lenses, but they are, so it's awesome. This one is especially exciting because this is the update to one of the first cheap, inexpensive manual focus lenses that I've ever used on my A6000. This is the 35mm, used to be f1.7, now it's f1.4. So super excited to check this thing out. Let's see how it comes packaged. This is the box that the lens comes in. Typical Meike packaging, nice and small. The lens is 35mm f1.4 multi-coated. Specs on the other side. Let's open this thing up. So inside you get the same little rain material pouch that you get with most Meike lenses, a cleaning cloth, guarantee card, and the lens itself. And this thing is nice and compact and lightweight. I'm going to take this lens cap, plastic rear lens cap, and a metal front lens cap. So this is just a pancake lens. Really, it's a fast aperture pancake lens. So around the front, convex front lens element, Meike branded, multi-coated, minimum focusing distance of 1.3 feet or 0.4 of a meter, 49mm filter thread, and then f1.4 and 35mm. Around the back, no electronic connections because this is manual only. And then on the side, you have Meike branding and just an aperture ring. Super duper light and smooth, f1.4 to f16. And then the focus ring is on top, which has quite a bit of rotation. This is, well, it's actually 180 degrees almost exactly. So you can see the markings are labeled there, and the front lens barrel does extend a bit as you move the focus ring. So that is it for the lens. Let's put this on the camera and see what sort of images we get with it. And here is the lens mounted on my A6000. It looks very nice on this camera. You can see the front lens element is visible there. The colors are very close to matching at least the A6000 body. It's not too long. It's just a touch longer than the kit lens, as you can see here. But it is a very nice looking, nice feeling lens. Doesn't feel very cheap. Feels like it's all metal build. Not a premium all metal build, but certainly not a cheap build at all. So now let's take a look at some sample photos and videos using this. So that is it for the sample photos and videos. And first things first, all of those sample shots were done with my brand new Sony A6400. And I have to say the colors are significantly better in my opinion than the A6500. So very excited about that. That review is coming hopefully sometime soon, but I'm still using the camera, playing around with it. So anyway, let's talk about the lens. This lens is definitely an upgrade over the old 35mm f1.7. In fact, when I use it, it reminds me entirely of that older lens. The only slight difference is I do think that the aperture control is smoother and lighter than it is on the old version of this lens. That being said, using this lens is a breeze. The only issue I have with it is that the focus control, while it gives you a nice and long range, sometimes it's ever so difficult to nail down focus. And you guys probably saw that in some of the video clips. If not, I'll put one up here. But it's very easy, because the depth of field is so shallow, to slightly miss your focus. I found myself constantly going back and forth trying to nail down focus. The colors on this lens are great. I don't know if it's the lens or the new camera, but they looked amazing in my opinion. So very good from that standpoint. As far as flaring, it is relatively well controlled, although I did notice it when shooting up against a bright backdrop, and especially wide open, there's quite a bit of greenish tint flaring, which is unique. It's different. Some of you may like it, some of you may hate it. The biggest issue I found with this lens while in use is chromatic aberration. It is pretty horrible wide open at f1.4, very noticeable both in video and in photos. And I'll show you an example here. It's a lot of chromatic aberration. Now, it does improve drastically as you step it down to f2.8 and f4, but something to note if you're shooting wide open against something with a bright backlight. Now, as far as sharpness, this lens impresses because I took this thing out and I took my trusty Sony 35, which you guys know is a $400 lens. And I did just one shot of my wife, and here is the result. And believe it or not, when I took a look at these photos side by side, the Meike 35 f1.4 was sharper than the Sony 35 at f2, which was a bit of a surprise. In the center of the frame at least, the $100 Meike 35 is sharper than a $400 Sony lens. So for photos, this is a bargain. Now you have no autofocus here, so for video, I would definitely still recommend the Sony 35. It takes a lot longer to compose and get your shot tack sharp on your subject with a manual focus lens. You guys probably already know this. So it took me all of 1 second to take one photo with this lens, and it took me maybe 10 or 15 to do it with this to make sure that I nailed the focus in the center. But you cannot argue with the value as far as image quality. So this lens has some quirks, that flaring, has a little bit of chromatic aberration, but for $100, there is not a single lens out there at this focal length that is this fast at this price point. So you really cannot complain. The old one came in at, I believe, $79 or so, 80 bucks. So this is $20 more, going from f1.7 to f1.4. I do think that it is a worthwhile lens to check out. If you shoot with the Sony A6000 and you just have a kit lens and you're wondering, should you get a prime lens? What sort of focal length should you get? How much money should you spend on it? This is definitely one to check out if you're on a budget. Now, if you have a bit more money, I would suggest jumping straight into something excellent like a Sigma 16, Sigma 30, or Sigma 56. You'll be much happier with those lenses. But if you're on a tight budget and all you have is $100 and you're looking for a decently sharp manual focus prime lens that will get you better street photography and better portraits than your kit lens, this is definitely one that you should check out. So I'll post a link down below to Amazon. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thanks so much for all of your likes, comments, and support. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, and one last thing, I am recording this entire video except for the unboxing portion with the Sony A6400, and I'm trying out the Sigma 30 f1.4 DC-DN lens. So let me know what you guys think of the quality of this thing. Hopefully I haven't been staring at that screen instead of the lens this whole time, but I may have been staring at the screen, so sorry. All right, see you guys next time. Thanks, bye.